All right, good morning. Now, actually, yeah, it's still morning. It's before noon. At least it is here. So that's what we're going to work with. Welcome to a character creation session with the Shade Master. Uh, we're just going to go over some basic things regarding character creation so that you can see what the process looks like live. This is going to be a pre-made for those of you who are interested in picking up the game but don't know how to make a character. You might want to just jump into the game without the bother of having to make a character yourself. That is understandable, especially when you're trying to get into a new system. That is that is something that I've been neglectful of because when it comes to making a character for this game and for the property that inspired it, making your own character based off of a deck is part of the original idea. However, because this is a role playing game and introductory pieces are needed, things like prefabricated characters, this is what we're going to do together for a little bit. So we're going to call this Shade Mage. Huh, we haven't made a Destruction Mage yet, so we're going to call this one Sparky. And you'll see why. Now, Sparky is going to be a Destruction Mage. So let's go over to Shade Points, which are going to be 5. Now, as you see, as we updated the Shade Points, everything else filled out. And so it tells you what you've got. So because she's going to be a Destruction Mage with only one Dominion, because that's what the 5 scores for. So we're going to put 5 for destruction score here. And that's going to autofill everything here. As you see, the toughness went from 0 to 5. The attribute points stayed the same. And if you go over here, all of the destruction uh, totals here have already been filled out. You have 5 in passion, 5 in chaos, 5 in combustion. So, and the destruction stain is going to be 2. This basically means the lower the number, the easier it is for your sip rolls to stain your shade, which means you get more in using Magic the Gathering terminology. It's going to be more colored mana. So what we're going to do from here is once you get this started off, you have attribute points to spend. And your attribute points are going to be placed in your library. This is where you spend your attribute points, right here. So because we're going to have a destruction mage, we're going to give her 5 points in combustion, and however many, let's say we want, do we go with chaos or pet? Because we have 5 more points to spend, and we can split them however you want. You could leave one completely empty, or you can give them both a value, depending on what you like. Let's go over um, to the rule book real quick. Just give me one moment. Da, 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 da. And let's see if we can do this. There we go. So here we have the Shades of Dominion rulebook. And so these are the destruction spell templates, which we're making. This is what library points do. They buy you spell templates for your game or for your character. So you can choose which spell templates you want. That'll determine what kind of spells you'll be able to cast. And that should help you decide where to put your attribute points. Now, we're having to choose between between chaos and passion. So we have some of the chaos spells here. Wisps of Rage. Target gains Rush until end of turn. Make a spell battery roll. Now, Rush is our version of Haste. It allows things to ready instantly. Kindled Fury gives initiative or first strike, and it increases your damage and power. Into the Fray. Just a non-legend or mythical target must attack the nearest. Oh my gosh, that's misspelled. And that is why we do these streams. To show you that we are improving on ourselves. So these are the kind of spells that you can look forward to when indulging in chaos. In Kindle Fury, Into the Fray, these are the channeled spells. Target gains Twin Strike or Double Strike if you're into magic. Burst of Speed gives all of your Shade summons Rush until the end of turn. Reckless Charge gives them +3 damage and power. Now, Aspect spells, Hatred. This is something that I wanted to include here. So I wanted Hatred as an aspect. So we might go with at least one in Chaos. So let's do that. Let's do that real quick, just so we can show you what that looks like. All right. So we want at least one in Chaos. Spirit of Rage. Minor Flame Elemental. I'm not really interested in that because Combustion is where we get most of our damage spells, and we put 5 points in that. Now, let's go back to the character sheet real quick. Da-da-dum. Now, this is important because your library points at character creation are limited by your shade capacity. You cannot have, at character creation, now this number will go up later, but at character creation, you can't have more library points than your shade capacity. That's why shade capacity is important. Shade capacity also limits how much stained shade or how much shade can be used in any spell that you create. So shade capacity is important, and you will need to grow it to progress as a shade mage. So that aspect is very important. So we have at least one chaos point because I want that aspect of hatred, and you'll see why very soon. Let's go back. Let's go back to the rulebook. And here we are. So here in Combustion, we have a bunch of spells that we're obviously going to be taking. We're going to be taking a Cauterize, and we're going to combine it with Lightning Strike. We're going to do Chain Lightning. We're going to... Shade Flame deals 4 damage to a Shade Summon. That's very good for fighting other Shade Mages. Tremor's a good one. Flaming Weapon is a good one. Now, these are aspect spells. Flaming Weapon, target receives +1 damage and or +1 damage if enchanting an artifact. You may sacrifice the Flaming Weapon to deal 1 damage to any target. Very standard Magic the Gathering-like aesthetic. But here's the one we really want from Combustion, called Living Flame. Spell effect, it summons basically a Spark Elemental. It's a 3/1 with 1 wound with Rush and Cleave, and at the end of the turn, the Living Flame dies out. At the cost of 2 library points, this spell can be used as an aspect to enchant a ranged weapon. All attacks with that weapon will add 3 damage and will deal damage as if it had Cleave. This is I can use this as a creature if I want to, but the real reason I'm taking it is for this this aspect spell, this aspect ability. And you'll find little nuggets like this to really min-max your character in the game. So we will be making a living flame mage for this build. And then we have passion. Uh, Passion is the true art of war. It really represents that old Magic the Gathering feel of what is it? It's you pay 3 mana for it. It's a red and basically control creature until end of turn. That's the passion aspect of the Destruction Dominion, and it's all about tactic. It's all about destroying artifacts. It's all about switching toughness and power. It's all about exhausting targets in combat. This is the tactical version of the Destruction Dominion. Also, Burning Inquiry is part of this build where it affects your spell battery rolls. Again, typos which need to be fixed. Tactical misinformation. Yes, that is a spell template in this game. X targets cannot counterattack this turn. Gratuitous recruitment as additional cost. You have to sacrifice an artifact and gain control of an NPC, of a non-legendary, non-mythic enemy until the end of turn. They have rush until the end of turn. So you have in this passion attribute the ability to control NPCs. So this is part of the build, and this is something that we are very interested in when it comes to building this character. Now, I don't know if we want any passion templates for this build. I might want to consider taking Crush to destroy artifacts. Um, maybe Faint. I don't know. Uh, Bloodlust. Target Shade Summon gains the aspect this Shade Summon must attack each turn if able. Snatch from the Sky is another one. Snatch from the Sky can only be cast on a... I'm going to change that to target. Target with flight. Because, and the reason I'm doing this is because I want this game to be as translatable into actual roleplay as possible. And the retardation that Magic the Gathering has to do as a card game to distinguish between different targets, from players, from creatures, from other planeswalker cards. I try to minimize that as much as possible to give it a more authentic roleplay feel. So we might take Snatch from the Sky, but there's really not much for us here. Tactical misinformation, I might want that, but really what we want is the combustion attribute. We want Living Flame. We want uh, Lightning Strike, deals 3 damage for 1 Stain Shade. That's important. And Cauterize. Cauterize deals 1 damage, but it also removes the immortality aspect before damage is dealt. So if they're able to regenerate, if they have Indestructible, they are going to suffer regardless. This spell removes the immortality aspect. So that's part of why we're looking at what our options are. And um, in terms of other spells, I don't know if there's anything I want to do because I don't think I want any more Shade Summon abilities. I really just want to focus on spell slinging. And that's another decision you have to make when making your character, is what kind of style do you want? And we'll go over that as well when we go through the other parts. So for Chaos, I want at least 1. And for And how often do I want it? Which one do we want to specialize in? That's the problem here, because I can't put any more points in combustion. So which one are we going to go for is the question. Should we go chaos or should we go passion? And that's the real question. Gains rush until end of turn, gets power. Furious Assault gives Twin Strike. You know what? I think we're going to go with Chaos. Because the Passion attribute here, the Passion attribute has switching power and toughness. That's not really our thing. But we do have Faint and Crush for, you know what? We're going to go Passion. I lied. We're definitely going to go Passion. And the reason why is because Burning Inquiry is going to combo very well with one of our shade aspects, which is another important part of this. So we're gonna go with Passion, and we're gonna go with Faint, Crush, Burning Inquiry, and we have one more that we can pick. Bloodlust. Maybe no, Snatch from the Sky. Snatch from the Sky, definitely. So this removes flight from the target, so we'll do that. So let's go report our findings. So we have 1 in Chaos, and we're going to put 4 in Passion. Now this changes our totals. We have 6 in Chaos, 10 in Combustion, and 9 for Passion. And this is going to alter our skills, and our skill totals, because it automatically generates what your totals are for based on your attributes. All of these skills are a total of 4 different attributes, and they're 4 different attributes from 4 different dominions. So that's how that is going to play out. So we have a character named Sparky with 5 library points in Combustion, 1 in Chaos, and 4 in Passion. So what we're going to do next is we're going to look into and we're going to decide for our character what kind of shade vessel they're going to wield. And this is Ardent's old shade vessel description. So we're going to update this to something a little on point. We called her Sparky. So let's go with a pocket Zippo. That's going to be our shade vessel. Now, you can be a little more creative if you want, but right now I'm happy with Pocket Zippo because it works. So you have the siphon roll, stain dice, tables, all that wonderful jazz. Now here is the library. Now, okay. Now our sip level is at full. So we have the spells that we want. So all of the spells that we're going to cost are going to be C, which is, no, destruction. D for destruction, yes. All shade cost gets the D. I'm not going to apologize for that very punny joke. All shade cost gets the D. That's how that works. And we're probably going to have like maybe 7 or 8 instead of a full 10, because we will be combining some, which means some of them are going to have 2Ds. But we'll get to that when we get there. So, spell name, obviously the first one is going to be the Lightning Strike. So, Lightning Strike. I can spell, I promise. And this is the effect, so deal 3 damage to any target. Spell battery is going to be 2, and it's unchanneled, as selected here. That is an unchanneled spell. Now let's go see what else we want to get. We're not going to go to, we're not going to go to, we're not going to go through the rest of combustion just yet. We're going to look at what passion spell we wanted. So let's go over to the passion category and get that one spell that we wanted from passion. That one spell, which is hatred, I believe. Yes, hatred. Let's go ahead and copy that over. Da-da-dum. Did I protect this sheet? And did I protect the wrong cell? That's annoying. You developer data. I don't think it's protected. That's weird. That's very weird. Alright, spell name, hatred, and it's going to be an aspect spell. It's also going to, it also has the D on it. There we go. There we go, we got it. Dum. Okay, so we have our one passion spell. Let's see if we can go see what else we wanted. Oh, okay, I know what we were going to do next. We don't need to go back just yet. What we're going to do is we're going to combine Lightning Bolt and Cauterize, which we can rename as Mortal Strike. Deals 4 damage. Deals 4 damage to any target. And removes immortality before damage is dealt. So that's where we're combining the Cauterize spell and the Lightning Strike spell. So we've used 3 of the combustion spells already. We used our Chaos spell slot, and we've also used 3 of our combustion spells. So when it comes to the rest, these should be in the Passion arena. So let's switch over to Passion, or to the rule book, and go back to the Passion spell list. Here we are. Now we wanted Faint, Crush, and Burning Inquiry. Yeah, I know I'm cheating here. It's okay, it's okay. And I'm just adding these in behind the scenes because it's faster. We already have it up. So, da-da-dum. So 1, 2, 3, and we have one more that we can put up. Snatch from the Sky, that's the one we wanted. That was the last one. So copy that, and let's move that one over. All right, so let's move it back to the Excel sheet. There we go. So this is our spell called Faint. It has a spell battery. Both of these spells have spell batteries of 2. This is the Crush spell that destroys an artifact. Also has a... Oh, that's another thing. Another thing we have to make sure that all of these are the proper spell type, because that determines the action that it takes to cast a spell. So Crush and Faint are both unchanneled spells. So unchanneled, unchanneled. Now, Burning Inquiry allows all Shade Mages in the area to make three battery rolls, and then they must exhaust exhaust 3 spells, or take a stress counter for each spell they don't exhaust. That's stress counters are also our discard mechanic. So anytime you would tell an opponent to discard on a Magic the Gathering card, they could instead take a stress counter. Is how that works. And so Burning Inquiry is a channeled spell. So that's what we will be looking at here. This is a channeled spell. And Snatch from the Sky is in actuality another... No. Snatch from the Sky is an aspect. It is a spell that you place on something as a permanent effect. So Snatch from the Sky is literally you casting an aspect or a condition onto the target. So that's also a spell battery of 2. It is a aspect, and the spell name is going to be... We're actually going to call this one Ensnare. All right, so we have all 4 of our passion accounted for. We also have the chaos spell accounted for, but we've only spent 3 of the combustion. And that's important because I'm going to show you what we're going to do with the other two templates. Let's go down here to artifacts. Now, before we do that, what we're going to do is we're going to switch back to the book. We're going to switch back to the core rulebook. And what we're going to do in the core rulebook is scroll all the way down. Scroll all the way down until we get to just the artifacts part of it. Here we go, artifacts, weapons, going through weapons, enchanting artifacts. This is where we want. Now, when an artifact that has not been made into a template, or has not been made into a template, a Shade Mage can enchant it by expending one sip level from their Shade Vessel and focusing the shade into the artifact for 1 hour. By doing so, they may either add a +1 bonus to all rolls made with the artifact, or add an aspect spell from their library to the artifact. After enchanting an artifact this way, the cost to make an artifact template for this artifact increases by the amount and type of the stained shade per aspect spell added of the corresponding type. It's basically for each spell you add that adds one. For example, if an artifact is enchanted by the light aspect spell, the cost of the artifact template would increase by 1 purity shade, in addition to its unstained bonus cost and the library point needed to imprint the artifact onto your shade vessel. So, it costs 2 to enchant an artifact with the living flame aspect. So what we're going to do is we're going to take an item that we want to enchant, and so we're going to pick a weapon for our dear mage, a ranged weapon. So let's go back up. Now see, we have bows, we have short bows, we have crossbows, and so on and so forth. And then we have a hand crossbow. And these are the weapons that we'll be able to choose from when we decide which weapon we're going to enchant or enhance. So what we're going to do for this weapon selection is we're going to go with the hand crossbow, which deals only 1d3, but it is a starter for that weapon group, which at character creation is about on par. So we're going to head back over to the character sheet. Let me get that pulled back up. It is a hand crossbow with D3 damage. So that's what we're going to do. Hand crossbow. So it's going to be Sparky's bonuses and effects is where we're going to add the extra info. So we're going to pull up the spells, and now we cannot add the spell that we made with the by combining the cauterize template. We have to go with the actual living flame spell itself. So let me pull up that information real quick. Just do a quick copy pasta for that, and copy and paste. And we'll do damage as if it had cleave, which in this system is trample. Cleave is trample. It will go into other wounds, so let's also add the damage. Actually, let's edit this all together to deals 1d3 plus 3 damage with cleave. And we're going to leave these blank for now because they're not enchanted. How do we say? We haven't made this into a template yet, if that makes any sense. So let's go back to the Word doc. And let's go back to the items. Da, 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 This is the playing with aspects part of it. Okay. Combat. Okay. Creating artifact templates. Artifacts can become too heavy and bulky to carry throughout one's travels across the realms. To alleviate this, a Shade Mage has the option of turning any non-shade item into a spell, which can be cast and create the item whenever it is needed. These are not summoning spells, but recreation spells that last until they are no longer needed. Doing so always requires the use of a single library point and the destruction of the item you would like to make a template of. The Shade Mage's Shade Vessel will then create a channeled spell for that item, the unstained shade cost of which is determined by the bonus the item would grant you in accomplishing the task. So, we're not actually going to turn this into a template just yet, but you can in the future. Now, as far as enchanting is concerned, enchanting does not require a cost of spending a library point. So we can actually add another enchantment to this weapon, which is exactly what we're going to do. We're going to give this weapon the hatred aspect to it, and take away another sip level at character creation. So let's go ahead and do that. With cleave and hatred. Now, just to refresh ourselves, we're going to remind ourselves what hatred does as an aspect. That was up at the top. Here it is. Each time this target attacks, add +1 damage, power or damage, depending on what you enchanted on, for each attack that is already performed this combat. So for each attack, it adds +1 to the damage. So you have a hand crossbow that the first attack is going to be dealing D3 +4 damage. That is insane. So, but we're not done. We're not done. We've just added the spells. We've added an artifact to the character creation. Now we're going to go down and we're going to take care of character aspects. Now, this is a destruction mage. So let's go back to the core set real quick. And let's go and look at what our options are in terms of maxing out this character's effectiveness in combat for the destruction. For the destruction dominion, here we go. Now here we have the Dominion of Destruction. And it starts off with Chaos, but we really didn't take much in Chaos. So we're just going to go down to Combustion, which is our main deal. Now we're going to take Inner Flame. Inner Flame, successful unarmed strikes. you make add d6 fire damage. Your touch can also set things ablaze. When you take damage from fire or explosions, deduct your combustion shade capacity from its total. This is an awesome combat aspect for the combustion mage. And so we're just going to copy this and go over to the Excel sheet. Dum. Enter flame, and the activation cost was 6. Now, this activation cost of the character creation, you're limited to those things which are at least a score of your total attribute score. So that's your only limitation right now when selecting the character aspects, is that attribute total score. So let's scroll back down. Now we also have to look at what shade affliction we've taken on from taking this character aspect. So what we're going to do is we're going to look down, and the shade affliction is water must never touch you in battle. Take that and move it over here. Dang it. All right. Water must never touch you in battle. But we're not done. We shouldn't be done. It's there's still plenty of looking down. So also in combustion, we have burning magic. Every time a target dies from a burning spell or ability, you may immediately make a spell battery roll or add +1 to your shade dice modifier until the end of this encounter. We're taking that one. So copy. And paste. And the cost for that one was 3. And that was called Burning Magic. Now the next one that we're going to take is called One Trick Pony. And the activation cost is 6. But let's go and read a One Trick Pony, because this is actually critical for the build that we're making. Now remember that Burning Inquiry spell that we took? This is going to be connected to that. So this is a trait that cannot be deactivated by the Shade. This Shade Mage may no longer use library points to build spells using templates they have not yet used or learned. When they gain a library point, they may only use it to build a spell using templates they've already utilized. Spells this Shade may cast that have a spell battery roll of 2+ automatically grants them a free spell battery roll to recharge any spell on a 2+ regardless of the actual spell battery. That's incredibly broken, and it's intentionally so, because the cost of this attribute, this character aspect, is whatever you start out with is what you stick with. Now you can build more spells, you can make more powerful spells, but you can't make any more spells that are new. You can't make new spells. You can only combine the spells that you've already stuck with. So, and in future releases, you'll be able to take the spells that you have taken on and add more effects, like area of effect, increased ranges and whatnot. you can do that. But in terms of actually learning new spell templates, nope, you are a one-trick pony. This is what you are. This is what you're stuck with. So this is extremely limiting, but at the same time, it's going to let you recharge any spell when you cast a spell that is uh, one or two shade cost. So it's going to allow you to refresh your spells very, 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 very quickly, so that in essence, you never run out of your spells. So one trick pony. Now both of these have the same shade affliction, which is that you must always take the. Dang it. I apologize for the boomers. You must always take the most direct course of action. And yes, the shade will punish you for trying to be roundabout or working around its. This trait cannot be deactivated by the shade, although there is much more to that. Why? Why did it not get the rest? How strange. Let me do that again. Just because. There we go. Huh. Ah, there we go. So there it is all in there. And that is. So we have our Shade Afflictions, we have our weapon, we have a pretty kick-ass character right now. And it's fully fleshed, it has Shade Afflictions, it has pretty much everything you are looking for in a character. And Sparky's going to be a pretty tough opponent. She has an unarmed attack that will be able to take down most people. And let's check out her movement. Let's check out some of her um, abilities. So she has acrobatics and athletics. Athletics is a movement of 50. That is insane. So with a movement of 50, she'll be able to blaze across the field. She will be a powerhouse of that sort. And when it comes to. Now, which was that again? That was athletics. So we want for her unarmed to be athletics. And for her unarmed defense skill, let's go with perception. That's a good one. Now, her unarmed damage also deals 1d 1 plus 1d. It does 1d6 instead of just the normal 1. So this will be changed to a d6. Let's see if we can, if unarmed is here. No, it's not here. Okay. So you'll roll a d6 here instead of that nonsense. And every time something dies from her magic, she gets another free spell battery roll. So we have a pretty solid character here, and I hope this was educational because a lot of new players are not going to know to do the whole to take advantage of artifacts and being able to incorporate them at character creation. And the only difference between their starting stats and everyone else's is because they added they enchanted um, their weapon. Their sip level is going to start here instead of at full. And honestly, that's nothing to a shade mage. They recover their sip levels pretty quickly. And uh, and honestly, having a weapon of that caliber on hand is going to prevent you from spending shade in the first place. So we have a pretty good character here, and this will be included in a package of pre-mades that I'm going to be putting together for all of you. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this was educational and that you understand in real quick, what character creation looks like for the Shades of Dominion and how in depth you can go into personalizing and maintaining your character, and honestly, how much fun it is, despite the fact that it seems like everything's auto-generated. No, you get to your stats are based on your spells and the kind of magic that you want to use, and so it kind of helps one thing turn into another, so it doesn't take quite as long as it looks like we're just coming up to an hour here. Like we're 51, 52 minutes in, and as far as character creation goes in most other systems, that's about on par, if not a little faster. So I hope everyone enjoyed this. I hope y'all uh, found this educational. And again, Sparky will be part of a pre-made package for people who want to play the game and just jump on in. Oh, one more thing. As I'm looking at it, it says you have 5 wounds here. Yeah, we're just gonna mark those wound boxes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's it. We're good. We have Sparky ready to go and ready to throw some shade. Well, that was it, everyone. Stay. I have to remember to not use the old catchphrase. And I hope you all are ready to go throw some shade, everyone. God bless. Bye bye.